welcome back to the cruise ship. Welcome back to the channel. I am live. Why is it that whenever I go away on holiday, there is a slew of royal news? I am going to write in a letter of complaint. Whose manager do I need to speak to about this? Anyway, we start today's royal news. We interrupt my vacation to bring you the news that Prince Harry is a massive sad loser. Oh my goodness, could it get any worse for Prince Harry? Not only has the start of 2024 been absolutely disastrous, darling. In fact, I'm going to give him a massive black fan flap right from the start. By the way, my black fan flap has been perfect for keeping myself cool and shady during the hot weather. It's a sea day. I am somewhere in the middle of the Caribbean Sea, somewhere, sailing aimlessly towards San Juan. You can hear me? Do let me know that everything's working. His libel case against the Mail, to be absolutely correct, on the day that he was due to hand over a list of documents, leaving him facing a £750,000 legal bill. My goodness, we reap what we sow, my loves, don't we? We reap what we sow. And he has sowed an absolute doozy with that libel case. He was so sure, he was so cocksure that he was going to win. Oh, he's got all these documents, he's got all this proof, he's got all these text messages and emails and all the rest of it. Oh, he keeps receipts, isn't he such a Karen? La la la. Really? When it came, he was trying to frighten the Mail on Sunday. That's exactly what he was trying to do. He was trying to frighten Associated Newspapers, in particular because he has won previously some elements of the cases that he has brought, although not everything to his liking. I think he was trying to frighten them, and he pushed it as far and as far and as far and as far and as far. He kicked the can down the road as far. He got to the point where it's like, right, it's now time to hand over the information. It's now time to actually give what you have got. He even had the audacity in this case to actually try and get a judgment without it even going to court. I mean, that was just how cocksure, how bullish he actually was. And it turns out that when the push came to the shove, when the heave-ho came, when we rolled out the plank and he was teetering on the edge, he wouldn't jump. He couldn't put his money where his mouth is, although he now has to pay all the costs, apparently 250,000 at least in costs for the other side, not only his own legal bill and all the time that he's wasted with this absolute cock and bull nonsense. So remember, this libel case was all about Ravek with the security. He was trying to say that the newspaper was putting, words in his mouth, making him look bad, that he was trying to spin PR. It was all a load of complete waffle and nonsense. And Prince Harry got a bee in his bonnet, buzzing bee, in the shape of Meghan, I shouldn't wonder, buzzing around in his head, filling in with a load of nonsense. Lawyers trying to capture weak brain, pea-sized brain. I mean, he's probably got two peas banging around in that brain at the moment. What happened? What happened to the Harry that we once knew? Oh, anyway, let's just move on. So he abandoned the case. I think he knew that the information, or it could be that it could have revealed a lot more than what he would kind of gain in terms of a win. So I think he got spooked. He got scared. He pulled out. He's most definitely a massive loser right now. I'm going to go to the comments and see what people are saying. Ramona says, can Harry be removed as a Councillor of State without him knowing it? Well, he definitely know it because I don't think that they'd have to inform him. But yes, councillors of state potentially could be removed. I mean, under the conditions of the Councillor of State laws that we've got already, there is a clause about absenteeism, I do believe. And I think, he would probably classify as not residing in the country. So in terms of being called upon, it's a bit of a red herring because it was already updated to include Princess Anne, Prince Edward, of course we have Queen Camilla, that can all act as councillors of state, including Prince William. So now that Catherine is out of action, William is out of action whilst he's looking after the children and being a good husband, looking after his wife while she remains in hospital. There isn't a need to call on Prince Andrew or Prince Harry, and we can put Prince Andrew and Prince Harry in the same boat when it comes to being councillors of state. Not for the same reasons, I might add, but they are in the same boat as they have an HRH, they are in the line of succession, they are technically councillors of state, but they are no longer using their HRH. That has effectively been stripped from them, although they do technically still hold it. So I don't think that Prince Andrew or Prince Harry would be called upon, because we have Queen Camilla, we have Princess Anne, we have Prince Edward, who can take over those duties should the need arise. Plus, a bit of a red herring with the King's prostate issue. He will not be out of action for a long time with that operation. So I don't think anything will be particularly called upon. Queen Camilla can do a perfectly good job. Chelsea Stevens said, sounds like he was trying to get them to settle. I think he probably was. He was probably hoping that they would offer him X amount of money to settle. They didn't. They held their nerve, and I'm glad that they did, because you can't just have Prince Harry taking a dislike to a story, taking umbrage for it, and then just suing and then getting a big payout. It has to be a justifiable reason, and this was pushed to the absolute ends, and it seems like, you know, he was not going to get an offer of settlement, so he got spooked. He pulled out. He ran scared, and he pulled out. Not what we were expecting to hear, I have to say. Anna says, serves him right. It does indeed. Don't start, you can't finish, my loves. Granny 1962 says, I just found your channel recently. I love it. Thank you. Harry is a pitiful excuse of a man, much less a prince. Which is a shame, because that's not how he was before he met Meghan. We know that he had a few tabloid issues. The most notable one prior to meeting Meghan was the strip poker incident. And he did get a lot of flack for that in the media. It was his own doing. He played strip poker in a place where people had camera phones. What do you expect? I mean, use your noggin, use your brain, my love. But he pulled back from that and he turned his life around. That shortly after then, he became, you know, proper full-time working royal. He got stuck in to royal life. He came up, you know, based on the Warrior Games, the Invictus Games that he brought to the UK. And he kind of formed with William and Catherine this kind of royal trio, and everyone loved him again. He turned himself around. So yes, it is an absolute shame on him that it has come to this, and it is his own doing. It's his own choices. It's his own. We all make choices. We all have a right to make choices in life. Harry had a right to step back. He had a right to move away. He had a right to do all of that. He had a right to speak to Oprah. He had a right to do his book. But it doesn't mean that it's the right choice. It doesn't mean that that was ever going to do him any good. He made a series of bad choices. Let me do that again. Bad choices. Heavily influenced by the monster of Snake Mountain. And we all know who the monster of Snake Mountain is. You can imagine poor Harry in the Snake Mountain dungeons, tied up, chained and tethered, whilst the monster runs around Snake Mountain cackling and plotting her next move. Yes, monster claws running all over the place. Anyway, Ramona says, thank you for helping me understand this. You're more than welcome. Chelsea says, 750,000. I guess they'll have to hold renovations on Snake Mountain. Well, a few extra shifts at McDonald's, I'm sure, will help, my loves. Maybe get some double time. MW says no heir and spare, and is Yoko Soho to serve to be removed from the line of succession and the Council of State for Sparry, in my opinion. I am kind of with you on the HRA. I do think monarchy should not be a popularity contest just because we don't like what they're doing at any given point in time. So part of me says or thinks to myself, if we start picking and choosing, is that embarking on the slippery slide of becoming a republic where we vote who we want to be the head of state? I think picking and choosing has a wider implication, a much wider implication than merely Harry and Meghan. I think in the big picture, in the starry night skies, I think we have to look at the big picture, and the big picture is, of course, preserving monarchy. I think it has its place in this day and age. It certainly has its place in the UK, in Britain, and it certainly has its place around the Commonwealth. I know technically not ruling the Commonwealth, but being elected kind of that head of the Commonwealth. I think it is important in today's age that we do, if we are a royalist, that we do as much as we can to protect it. And I do think that picking and choosing based on behaviour is going on that slippery slope, regardless of how much we dislike what someone is doing at any given point in time. So no, I do not agree with what Harry and Meghan are doing. I think it was despicable the way that they treated Her late Majesty and his late Duke of Edinburgh when they were basically passing away, during the Oprah interview, bringing out spare or planning spare whilst Her Majesty was passing, was just absolutely horrendous and unforgivable. But we have to look at the wider picture. Monarchy must be preserved, my loves. Barbara Long says, my loves. Barbara Long says, the Mail Online said that the news article was their opinion, not that it was true, but it was a rabbit hole. The hacking case is going forward. Yes, Harry still has multiple cases going ahead, but this is one that he has most definitely lost because he withdrew and pulled out of. He was obviously trying to save some kind of face. He didn't want to be seen to lose, so he didn't want to go through, and I don't think he wanted the information that was in those documents, emails, texts, to come to light. Probably because it put him in a more compromising position. The Princess of Wales in hospital. We have the King facing prostate issues. Does he want to be seen to be being that kind of to be doing that whilst we have medical dramas going on? I'm not quite sure the monster of Montecito cares much about that. But Harry, there may be just a little glimmer, maybe just a little bit of the old Harry still there. Who knows? Me wears to the paid-for award ceremony tonight. Guaranteed to be awful. Oh yes, we've got that to look forward to, haven't we? Yes. Well, we'll see what she wears. I mean, I'm imagining. Let's hope it's not that Baco foil dress again. You know the gold one she wore on the night of the taxi incident, the chasing through New York. She looked like she was wearing gold Baco foil. It was that sort of thick Baco foil material that you put behind a radiator to reflect the heat back into the room. That's exactly what it looked like. It looked hideous, too thick. It was too thick a material. It was awful. It looked terrible on her. You could see all the, it just crumpled up and it was disgusting. I was not a fan of that, I have to say. Anyway, let me go to the main article. So yes, today was the day that he was supposed to hand in a whole host of documents, which could have featured in the trial, which of course was over claims that he had attempted to mislead the public. So basically now, by pulling out, he's saying that the story was true and correct, and that he did try to mislead the public. Well, tell us something that we don't know. So instead, he chose to throw in the towel, with his lawyers informing the High Court at 10 a.m. that he was discontinuing his case. He will now have to pay the newspaper's costs of £250,000 along with his own lawyer's fees, meaning a total legal bill of more or around £750,000. What an absolute blunder of a mistake. 2024 is looking shockingly awful for Prince Harry and Meghan. If this is setting the tone for the year, then my goodness, we are going to have a bumpy ride. Let's sit down, let's take some popcorn, let's grab a hot cup of tea and watch this mess unfold. So Harry sued the Mail on Sunday for libel over an article which said his PR aides had tried to spin a dispute with the Home Office over its decision to downgrade his taxpayer-funded police protection. Well, I hope that the Mail on Sunday, or the Associated Newspaper Group, sue him for libel for saying that they were lying. It can work both ways, my loves. The Duke said this unfairly accused him of trying to confuse the public. Well, he was trying to confuse the public, and there were a lot of idiots who took him at his word. Lawyers Shillings, who are making an absolute fortune off exploiting him, were so confident that they asked Mr. Justice Nicklin to have the case ruled in the Duke's favour without even having a trial. But last month, Mr. Justice Nicklin rejected the request, and therefore we are where we are today. The judge said the newspaper had a real prospect of succeeding in demonstrating that an honest person could have held the opinion that the claimant was responsible for attempting to mislead and confuse the public. That's talking about the Duke. His ruling meant that the case progressed towards a libel trial. So there we go. It is not known what documents Harry's lawyers would have prepared for disclosure, but they might have included emails, messages, but it will never be known. And today was the deadline, so he pushed it as far as he most definitely could. I'm going to go back to the comments now and see what people are saying about this. Garani says, I'm in the USA, but I do love the royal family. Do you think Harry will show tonight for paid award? Well, if you paid for something, you may as well get the most out of it, my loves. He may be trying to spin PR and overshadow what's happened today by turning up at the event tonight. So my guess, and it is just a guess, my guess is that he will turn up with the Monster of Montecito in tow. Goodness knows what they'll be wearing or saying or doing, but I imagine Meghan will be leading the way and he'll be trotting on like her little lost lamb behind, trailing in her wake. She'll probably, I'm just imagining how it's going to go. She'll probably go for the mic and then she'll be pushed away by the host. Then the mic will probably be handed to Harry, who'll mutter a few words, and then they'll leave. So yes, it does make sense that they would possibly go to the awards show just to take the heat off basically his big massive loss that has occurred today. Coincidence? I think not. Betsy says the monarchy needs to take care of itself, and it does. Harry and Andrew have been sidelined. That was a family decision. The public should stay out of the firm. Just my opinion. Yeah, I think that the monarchy does need to take care of itself, and part of the taking care of process was to distance themselves from Prince Andrew and Prince Harry. They have done that on a professional level. On a private, personal, family level, they are still family members. We saw Prince Andrew still being embraced at the Royal Family Christmas. We've still kind of yet to see that for Harry, but he's not been over to kind of experience that, if you like. I think he's still got the major hump with his family. The monarchy also needs to take care of itself in terms of the working members of the royal family. You know, even the newspapers are now picking up on the fact of something I've been saying for a long time, and that is that the royal family is basically threadbare. We need some more working members of the family. At this point, I don't think, I'm calling it now, I don't think it's a question of when, of if we get some extra working royals coming in. I think it's a matter of when. And I do think the most likely candidates would be Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie at this point, although I'm not ruling out Zara and Mike Tyndall because of their popularity. I know that they do not have royal titles and styles, but that could be changed by King Charles with a few letters patent issues and the stroke of a fountain pen. Let's hope the fountain pen doesn't leak, because we know that the king gets a little grumpy with a leaky pen. I think he should just switch to a biro, in my opinion. But anyway, with the stroke of a pen, titles could be created, styles could be bestowed, and the Tyndalls could most definitely be valuable, popular members of the working royals, along with Beatrice and Eugenie, who have not put a foot wrong, apart from the pretzel hat at William and Catherine's wedding. They haven't really put a foot wrong. They are good, dutiful young women with families, honourable husbands, good relationships. So I don't think it's a question of if. I'm feeling now it's a question of when. T.G. Bear says his bluff definitely backfired to the tune of approximately $1 million. Totally backfired. I am with you 100% with that one. Christine says she'll be pushing and pulling him around like she'll... Oh! Pushing and... I bet he's got bruise marks. I want to go to Harry. I want to go up to him and say, blink twice if you need help. You know, if you need rescuing, just blink twice. Maybe whenever anyone sees Harry in public, they should shout, blink twice. Blink twice for help, Harry. Send out your SOS. We'll come rescue you. Felicia says, I hope it's not Beatrice and Eugenie. Saw them at the WEF Davos. I don't know. I personally quite like Beatrice and Eugenie. I know that Eugenie is still fairly close with Harry. I think they still have, you know, a conversational rapport, probably text messages, WhatsApps, all that kind of thing. But I think that just goes to show her good nature, really. I mean, some people have said maybe Eugenie is feeding information to Harry and Meghan. I don't think that she would, because I think Beatrice and Eugenie have been hyper aware of their position, of being between a rock and a hard place, having the titles, having the styles, not being working royals. They have gone to great lengths not to talk to the media about their family. And I think knowing that Harry and Meghan do blurt out things via Oprah interviews or books, I don't think they would necessarily be so reckless when it comes to talking to Harry and Meghan. I think they still wanted that family relationship, without necessarily giving them all the information and gossip. And I know some people will agree with me, some people will not agree with me on that one. But I just think if you look at Beatrice and Eugenie's track record of not talking to the media, of not sort of releasing things, of actually being very careful about what they say and what they do, it just seems a little out of character to then be blurting and disclosing everything to Harry and Meghan. I'm not saying that is... Nothing should be discounted at this point. But I'm not feeling that. And I do think that Beatrice and Eugenie would be very useful back in the royal fold. Rediscover Locations with Sharona says, do you think it's true Harry is going to visit the king in hospital? No, I don't. I don't think Harry is going to come over. If he does, it'll be just for PR sake. If he can't come over for other things, then why would he come over for a routine prostate operation? The king is not seriously ill. He's just having a routine prostate operation for an enlarged prostate. He's either having the whole thing removed or reduced or something. It's probably even done through keyhole surgery or You know, that kind of thing. The illness that is more concerning is actually Catherine. I do think that the king's illness was put out there to kind of offset Catherine's. I don't think the timing of that was was any sheer coincidence. So yeah, I mean, I've read a lot of comments since I made the video yesterday. A lot of hysterectomy because a lot sooner than 2 weeks. It could, of course, be that Catherine's spending longer in hospital than what normally people would because she's paying for private healthcare and because of her position that they want to make sure that she is 100% well enough to leave hospital. I think, you know, probably normal people, normal citizens like you and I, are probably pushed out of hospital a lot sooner than what we really should be. So I think that Catherine, I'm still not ruling out a hysterectomy, but it could be any kind of abdominal surgery. I've heard talk of gallbladder. I mean, one of the things that I thought about even was possibly Crohn's. Maybe she's got Crohn's disease, and maybe she's got a really inflamed part of the stomach, the intestine. Maybe she's having a chunk of intestine removed and then obviously stitched back up. Maybe that could take a little bit longer. I mean, she certainly has been, you know, on the slender. I mean, even for Catherine, she's always been slender, but she's been, you know, really on the slender side recently. And then, of course, we had the Remembrance Sunday, where I didn't think, I even made a video, I didn't think that she looked particularly well on that balcony. So I think this is planned surgery, but it most likely is not planned surgery from a long time. I don't think it's been planned for months or weeks. It's probably been planned for days. So I think that is a little bit of a red herring saying that it is planned. I think that was put in there to try and lessen the impact or the seriousness of Catherine's operation. So to be in for 10 days to 2 weeks, then taking time off until at least after Easter, I think shows the seriousness. I think shows the seriousness of what she's actually had, and of course, we still do not have, you know, full confirmation on what she's had. It is, of course, sheer speculation, but there are a lot of illnesses and causes that could be attributed to abdominal surgery. Some people have even said maybe it's a pregnancy and she's had to have some kind of operation to maybe fix the womb in place. I forget what that operation is called. Personally, I don't think she's pregnant. I think it's something else. Perhaps, you know, hysterectomy, Crohn's, that sort of thing going on. But let's just fingers crossed that she's going to recover. Apparently she's doing well. Prince William has been to visit. We don't think the children have been to visit at this point, or not to my knowledge anyway, at the point of making this video. Ooh, let me just open the curtains because for some reason the curtains closed on the balcony. Christine says it's not our place to speculate, but they know that we will. That is the thing. When a royal goes into hospital and there's a certain element of mystery about it, we speculate. We haven't speculated with the king's illness because he came out and said it's to do with the prostate. And of course, you know, it's exactly what I said yesterday. It's highlighted the issue, and, you know, he's making lemonade out of lemons, basically, by highlighting a cause that affects men, talking about men's health. So the speculation is not there for the king, whereas it is there. And it's all right saying, you know, don't speculate, but people are. I mean, that is the very nature of it. She's gone into hospital. By the way, the internet is doing really, really well considering we are in the middle of the Caribbean Ocean Sea right now. So I'm really pleased it's actually held up. Granny 1962 says, I miss your tiara. I would love to have one. Well, I didn't pack my tiara. I did pack my fan because I thought it would be helpful as well to keep me cool. But no, I do not have my tiara, but I will be resuming my tiaras when I am back in the country. So I think that's it for now. Let me just do a final news check just to make sure that no new information has come in since I have been here. No, I think we are good. We are most definitely good. So thank you for watching this video. I will leave it here now. If we have any more information or any more breaking news stories whilst I'm on the cruise, then I will of course let you know. If you've missed what I said at the start, we are sailing now in the middle of the sea to San Juan, Puerto Rico, before starting our second week on the cruise. So I'm not back fully for another week, but I am able to live stream some videos. So thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to share on social media, and of course do hit the bell so that you know whenever I upload a new video. So from me, mwah, to you all, and goodbye.